Now, following on from my outside my man shed bit about these chords, E minor, C, G and D. Have a look at that video in case you're wondering what the hell I'm talking about. Today I'm going to show you about strumming of the chords and how to get different sort of sounds with the right hand. Now, the first rule is don't look at your right hand, because actually there are only 6 strings here, so you can think of it as a 6-speed gearbox in a car. You wouldn't look at the gear stick because you'll mow somebody down. So try and feel your way around those strings. So try and think, okay, I'm going to aim for the B string, there we go, or the A, or the D, and the E, and the G, and then the bottom E, like that. So the idea is that you can create something that is actually arbitrary, it's up to you. So if I was going to strum an E minor chord, and just stick on the E minor for now, no other chord changes. You've got downstrokes where the bass strings are actually sounding before the treble ones, making the chord a bit stronger. And then you've got upstrokes which are weaker because they start with the treble strings and the bass strings are usually only just slightly played. That's much stronger. So you could do something like this. So you can hear where those strong beats are. If it was this, it wouldn't really sound natural, so the upstrokes are going to be weaker. So also with the upstroke, it's not necessary to play all the strings. In fact, it's better if you don't. If you just literally just catch maybe the first 4, aim for the first 4, all 6, just 4 of them. Like that. So when you've got the chord changes, what you can do is you can, the last 8th note that you play, you can lift off and then play the next chord, something like this. Technically, the chord is just an open chord all the time when you're doing that last 8th note, but actually it doesn't matter too much. It also means you can't really replicate that using a keyboard or a guitar sound on a soft synth or something, so it's very real. It's almost like it's breathing between gears. So it has very sort of human characteristics, that whole sort of drive through those chords. Now, the other thing you can do is you can address, specific strings. Notice how I've sort of orchestrated that so that the bass note comes first, and then halfway through the bar I've got that. So if I count 1, 2, 3, 4, you can hear that this comes on beat 1 and that on beat 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Every single time I played that round, it was different. So once again, you have that sort of individuality and that need not to be utterly the same every time. So you could do that with all the chords. So you could have a sequence that does this. Etc., etc. Now, the acoustic guitar as an instrument ranks amongst the quietest of all instruments. If you're playing with a trumpet player, or if you've got somebody really heavy on a piano, it's going to be much, much louder than this. So, but don't play louder to try and compensate for that, because all you'll do is get that horrible sort of jangliness. Whereas it's balancing out the treble of the plectrum hitting the strings with the tone of the body itself. So I've got those accented bits, which is where I basically err on the side of making more treble with that, but then I can come back down and play something quieter. So it's important with any instrument to be dynamic with it. Any instrument at all, you have to be able to play and if you're in a studio and you've got a decent mic, it will pick up everything, so you don't need to worry about the fact that it might not be loud enough. It's a bit different on stage. I mean, my trusty old Echo Ranger from the late 70s doesn't have a pickup in it. You can get little pickups that wedge themselves between the edges of the sound hole, and then you've got just a jack plug, so you can plug it in. So, but if you have an electroacoustic one, there is no need to play loudly at all, because you've got the preamp built in and the jack plug, and that will sort it out for you. So aim to have that sort of highest volume sound available, but not used all the time. So there, I was strumming in 16th notes actually. If the beat goes 1, 2, 3, 4, I was going. But I was playing each one with a slightly different volume level, which you naturally get from the down and up strokes, but sometimes the up strokes I sort of caught to make them a bit louder. So you get that sort of rhythmic push. Now, the reason guitar as an acoustic guitar on its own is so successful is because you're doing three things at once. You're playing the bass, you're playing the chords, and you're playing the drums. So if I was going to do a kick and a snare pattern, dum, ka, dum, dum, ka. There's enough there to convey all the information that you need, because it's also very trebly as well. So you're getting the hi-hat. So there's masses going on. Now you can also change the bass note if you want, or with these open chords you can lift fingers on and put them on again. So or you can add fingers on. So I've got a D sus4 there. And just that sort of flick with the harmony provides extra emphasis, especially if you want to create that sort of rhythmic effect. So you can get all of those things out of your open chords. So your E minor, C, G, and D. Do all of that with. Now with the D chord you've got to be a bit careful, because the bass note is the fourth string, so it's the fourth string up from the bottom. These are numbered 1 through to 6. So the fourth string, when you're doing this sort of bass and snare, you've got to move your right hand down slightly. Try not to look at where the fourth string is. Ideally, you should be able to feel it. So E minor, C should start on the fifth string, G back on the sixth, and then D on the fourth string. So if you look at my right hand, I'm always starting on the correct string because I can just feel where it is. So you've got the sixth string for E minor, and then the fifth string for C, all of them for G, and the fourth string for D. One way you can do this is to, with feel your way around with this hand, is just to put your palm down, and then you can basically tell where that first, well, the sixth string actually is. I mean, there's many different positions here. I mean, assuming that we are working frets open to 12, and then you've got 72 different positions here, but only 6 here. So this, don't forget, this is kind of your gears, and then you're looking at the road, which is this, because this is arguably the most important bit. Now, with extra notes, taking Wonderwall, for example, E minor, they've got these different sounds. The chords are really quite complicated, but it's helped by the fact that those two notes are kept all the time. Now that's played in 16th notes, but I'm only using some of them. You can see that my right hand is moving up and down in 16ths. But you decide when you use those 16th notes by just, you know, it's the record stylus being lowered onto the record. Don't try to restrict the rhythm, don't try to do this. Because it doesn't sound natural, it sounds forced. So when you're in a recording situation, if you do that, the weight of your arm weighs quite a lot. And the weight of your arm will help your body move around, and it'll give you a natural sense of pulse. So there we go. There is a bit about how to strum these chords. Don't forget, try not to look at your right hand. Selection of a plectrum is also very important with acoustic guitar, more so arguably than electric, because the sound that you get is directly affected by the plectrum. Now I use these. This is a I don't even know what it's called. Prime Tone Dunlop USA 1.5mm. I use really thick plectrums. I use 3mm when I play electric guitar. I play a lot of jazz, so you know I need a thick plectrum. But if you get something that's too thin, you'll have something that's really trebly and doesn't get much tone out of this. The strings that you select for your guitar will also have an impact on the overall volume, because this isn't very loud. And you can have a conversation, even with somebody who's really going hell for leather on this. You couldn't if somebody was playing, you know, fortissimo on a trumpet. You're just going, what? So this, I can still have a conversation, and I'm playing quite loudly. But you get much better tone out of an acoustic guitar if you're quite gentle with it and know where those volume levels are. So there we go, there's a bit about strumming for you.